Assalamu alaikum and good morning, my dear students. First of all, I welcome all of you to today's biology class. How are you all? Hope that all of you are doing well. So let's begin our classes, right? So in the previous class, we were discussing about the very first chapter of biology, that is about the crop production and management. And in that chapter, we discussed about crops, two different types of crops, that is kharif crops and rabi crops, different examples for that, and about the agricultural practices. Is it? And in the agricultural practices, we discussed two important activities, that is about the preparation of soil and sowing of seeds, right? In today's class, we will be discussing about another two important activities in the agricultural practices, that is about adding manure and fertilizers, then about the irrigation. Okay, so let's look into the topics. The next important activity in the agriculture practices during crop production is the adding of manure and fertilizers. Students, do you know what are manures and fertilizers and why we are adding these manures and fertilizers during agriculture? So you know that we humans and animals take food in order to get the nutrients from the food which help us in our growth. Right, the nutrients obtained from the food help in the growth. Likewise, plants also need nutrients. And you know that the plants will obtain or absorb the nutrients from the soil. So what are manures and fertilizers? They are the substances added to the soil in the form of nutrients for the healthy growth of plants, or simply the nutrients added to the soil for the growth of plants, and they are called the manures and fertilizers. So what are manures? Manure is an organic substance that increases the soil fertility. It is prepared from decomposition of animal excreta and plant waste. And also it consists organic matter and nutrients which are essential for the plant. It improves the soil texture by increasing its water holding capacity and also avoids water logging. Okay. Do you know how this manure is obtained? The farmers will dump plant or animal waste in pits at open places and allow it to decompose. The decomposition is caused by some microorganisms. So the decomposed matter is used as organic manure or simply our manure. So in your homes, there will be some of you will be making compost. Some of your parents will be making compost. This compost is a type of organic manure. Okay. Then let's look at the advantages of using manures. So what are they? The manures help to improve the texture of the soil, and it enhances the water holding capacity of soil. Also, it makes the soil porous, due to which the exchange of gases become easy. And it increases the number of friendly microbes in the soil. Also, it is eco-friendly and it restores soil with all the nutrients. Okay. Then next, we have fertilizers. What are fertilizers? Fertilizers are chemicals which are rich in a particular nutrient. Okay, fertilizers are commercially produced plant nutrients. They result in higher yields and healthy plants if applied in proper dose. We have to apply the fertilizers in a proper dose. Okay, so it will enrich the soil with good amount of macronutrients like nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium, etc. And there are few disadvantages associated with the use of fertilizers. Okay, and that means it causes the extensive use of fertilizers causes water pollution if followed by excessive irrigation. Because if we apply the fertilizers in the field and when the rain comes, the water will be flowing to nearby rivers or lakes, and it will cause us the water pollution. And excessive use of fertilizers can spoil the soil fertility. That means it will affect the organic matter, or it will kill the microorganisms present in the soil. Okay? So considering all the advantages and disadvantages, organic farming, that means the farming with the organic manures is preferred in these days because it doesn't harm the nature. And organic farming means it will be with minimum use of chemicals and maximum use of the manures with healthy cropping patterns. Understood? So adding these manures and fertilizers will help to replenish the soil with nutrients. Okay, so there is another method of replenishing the soil with nutrients, that is through the crop rotation. Do you know what is crop rotation? This means growing different crops alternatively. Earlier, farmers in northern India used to grow legumes as fodder in one season and wheat in the next season. This helped in the replenishment of the soil with nitrogen. That means you might have seen paddy fields, right? And in one season, the farmers will grow paddy in that field, and after harvesting the paddy, they will grow different vegetables or for example plantains, banana plants, right? So they will be growing plantains, tapioca, etc. This is to replenish the soil nutrients. Okay, so this is another method of replenishing the soil nutrients, that is crop rotation. Okay, so this is all about the manure and fertilizers. Next we have irrigation. What do you mean by irrigation? You know that all living beings need water to live. Is it? Water is very important for the proper growth and development of all organisms. Water is absorbed by the plant roots. You know that, right? Along with water, minerals and fertilizers are also obtained or also absorbed by the plants. Plants contain nearly 90% of water, and water is essential because germination of seeds does not take place under dry conditions. For the germination of seeds, the plants need water. And also, nutrients dissolved in water are transported to each part of the plant body. So, we have to water the fields, that means we have to water the crops regularly. In order to maintain the moisture of the soil and for a healthy crop growth, we have to water the fields regularly. So the supply of water to crops at regular intervals is called as irrigation. What is irrigation? The supply of water to crops at regular intervals is called as irrigation. The time and frequency of irrigation varies from crop to crop, soil to soil and season to soil. In summer, the frequency of watering is higher because the temperature will be high and the soil will be dry. So we have to water frequently than any other seasons. So next is the sources of irrigation. What can be the sources of irrigation? That are the wells, right? Wells, tube wells, ponds, lakes, rivers, dams, etc. are the sources of water from where we can get water for the irrigation. Then there are two methods of irrigations, that is traditional method of irrigation and modern method of irrigation. First, we will look at the traditional method of irrigation. So in the traditional method of irrigation, the water available in the wells, lakes and canals are lifted up by different methods from different regions for taking to the field, and cattle or human labor is used in these methods. So these methods are cheaper but less efficient. The types of traditional methods of irrigation include first one moat. Moat or pulley system. Moat is also called as the pulley system. It involves pulling up of water from a well or other such source to irrigate the land. This is a time consuming and labor intensive process, but it is very cost efficient. Also, using a moat avoids the wastage of water. The next system is the chain pump. A chain pump consists of two large wheels connected by a chain. These are buckets attached to the chain. Further, one part of the chain dips into the water source. As the wheel turns, the bucket picks up water. The chain later lifts them to the upper wheel where the water gets deposited into a source. The empty bucket gets carried back down. Understood? The next one is Dekli. Dekli is a process of drawing water from a well or such similar source like tanks or canals. Here we tie a rope and bucket to a pole. At the other end, we tie a heavy stick or any other object as a counterbalance, and we use this pole to draw up water. And the last one is Rahat. Rahat uses animal labor. Above the well, we tie a large wheel. An ox or cow would turn the wheel to draw the water from the well. So there are certain disadvantages associated with a traditional method of irrigation, like it need too much of human labor, then less efficient due to uneven distribution of water. There is a chance of wastage of water. Okay, so next we will move to modern methods of irrigation. The modern methods of irrigation is being able to overcome the limitation of traditional methods, and modern methods of irrigation help us to use water economically. The main methods used are sprinkler system. First one is sprinkler system. In this system, there are perpendicular pipes with rotating nozzles on top. These pipes are joined to main pipeline, and water flows through main pipeline under pressure by a pump, and water escapes from the nozzle and reaches the field. You might have seen in the different lawns and all, and also it is very effective or useful in coffee plantations and several other crops. Next system is drip system or drip irrigation. In this system, the water falls drop by drop directly near the roots. That's why it is called a drip system. It is the best technique for watering fruits, plants, gardens and trees. There will be no wastage of water. This method is very good for areas with less water. So we can say that modern methods of irrigation are more efficient with no water wastage and no human labor involved. So that's all about today's topic. So students, in today's class we discussed about the adding of manure and fertilizers. What are manures, what are fertilizers, and advantages of manures. Then we discussed about the irrigation, different types of traditional methods of irrigation, and also about the modern methods of irrigation. All of you have understood the topics, right? Students, so that's all about today's class. Hope that all of you have understood the topics. So if you have any doubt, we will be discussing it in the live classes. Okay, that's all. So we will meet in the next class. Thank you.